Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'll be showing you how to use Power BI for data analysis. This tutorial is for absolute beginners. I'll also be including the link on where to download Power BI desktop into your laptop in the description box, as well as the dataset I'll be using in this video. So you can go ahead, download it, and let's get started. After installing Power BI, you open it up. This is the first dialog box that will show. You click here to close this dialog box. So in Power BI, where you have all your tabs is called the ribbon. Power BI has different views. We have report view, table view, and model view. It also has few different panes. We have filters pane, we have visualizations pane, and we have data pane. This is where your data will show when it is loaded. And here is your report canvas. Okay, so if you look here, you can import data from Excel, data from SQL Server, even paste data into a blank table, or you come over your home tab and click on get data. Once you click on get data, it will show different data sources that you can import data from. In this video, we want to use an Excel workbook, so we click on Excel workbook and it opens up. I select the file I want to use and click open. This dialog box shows to display the workbook and the different tables in the different sheets. I want to use two tables for this example. We'll be using the products table and the sales table. As I'm selecting any of the tables, it is showing a preview of this table and the data in it. I'm going to select the two tables and I come over here where I have these three buttons: load, transform data, and cancel. You can load your data directly to your report view, but most times it is advisable for you to click on transform data, especially if you have a dirty data and you want to perform data cleaning, or you just want to fix data issues. So I'm going to click on transform data. After clicking on transform data, my Power Query editor opens up, because it's in Power Query editor that we're going to perform all our data cleaning. In Power Query editor, we have the ribbon as well, which contains all the tabs. We have where our queries are going to show. This is the data preview, and we also have where our transformation steps are going to show under these applied steps. My data set is basically clean, but I'm going to show you basic things that you can do in Power Query editor. If you look at our other number column, our other number column has unique set of values. That means we should not have a duplicate. In order for you to check if your column has a duplicate, just come directly to the column, right click on it, and then select remove duplicate. Once I select remove duplicate, you see that the transformation steps I have carried out in this column has been listed here. You can also go ahead to check that your data types are actually correct, that your dates are being stored as date and your text are also being stored as text. So you can come to your transform tab, click on transform tab, and come over to click on the text data type. You can also perform other basic cleaning actions in Power Query. As a beginner, I would advise you take some time and learn about Power Query editor. You unlock a lot of features that will help you in your analysis. So when your data set is clean and is free of errors, you can come here to the home tab, click on close and apply. After clicking on close and apply, my data set has been loaded into Power BI report, so it is being shown in the data panes. Right now we can go ahead to start building our report, but there are basic things that we need to put in place before we do that. If you look at my data pane, I have products table, I have sales table, and if I click on this sales table, there is a sales date column that is there. That means we have to create a date table that will help us perform time intelligence calculations, and that date table is going to be our official date table for this analysis. What we'll do is I'll come over to the table view and click on it. Once I click on the table view, under the table tools, I click on new table and I write my formula where I want to use and create a date table. I have a well-detailed video on how to create a date table using one single formula. It is very easy to understand. I'll be including the link of that video in the description box. Once I'm done writing my formula, I'm going to press enter. My table has been returned, and here I'll come over to the data pane, come to my date table and go to click on more options. I click on more options, I come down and mark it as a date table. In this dialog box that is displayed here, I'm going to select a column, and that's going to be date column. Then I click OK. After which, Power BI is going to recognize this table as my official date table. The next thing we're going to do is to go to our model view. Here we're going to perform data modeling. Data modeling is basically creating relationships between your tables. Our tables are being displayed here: product table, sales table, and our date table. We're going to find unique columns between these tables and create relationships between them before we proceed to carry on with our analysis. If you look at the sales table, we have a sales date column, which is the same as the dates column in the dates table. So I'm going to click and drag sales date column and join it with the date column in the dates table. Power BI has created a one-to-many relationship between this dates table and the sales table. If you want to edit anything in this between these two tables, you come to this button here and right click. Here you can delete the relationship, or you can also come to properties to edit the relationship. You can edit tables, you can edit column, you can even edit the type of relationship. The next thing is for us to create a relationship between our product table and our sales table. If you look at our product table, we have an index column, and if you also look in our sales table, we have product index column, which is the same with our index column in the product table. So I'm going to click and drag the product index column and join it with the index column in the product table. After which, Power BI has created a one-to-many relationship between our product table and our sales table. If you hover on this relationship, you see the two columns that are being used to create this relationship. Also note that if the columns are not a match, if the columns are not unique to each other, no relationship will be created. Then we can now proceed over to our report view to start building our report and creating our visualizations. The first thing we're going to do in this data set is to find trends and patterns in our data set, and the best visual for that is the line chart. I'll come to my visualization pane and select the line chart. I'll bring down the line chart and I'll click on sales. My sales is going to go in my y-axis. Then I'm going to select the month. We'll be looking at the monthly sales because this data set is for 1 year, spanning over 5 months. I'm going to select the month, and this is the trends and pattern. But if you look at my x-axis on where the month is showing, you see that this month is not sorted correctly. I'll come over here to on top of the visual where I have more options and click on it. I come down to sort axis. So we want to sort it in ascending order, and we want to sort it by month. Even after sorting in ascending order and sorting it by month, we see that our month is still not properly sorted. What we'll do to fix this is to go back to our table view. I click on the table view and I come over to my date table. We have to sort our month column by the month number. That is how we can fix that particular issue. In order to sort the month column, I'm going to select the month column and come to column tools. Under column tools, I'll click on sort by column, and under it I'll come down to month number. After that, Power BI has sorted my months based on the month number, and I'll just come back to my report view. Coming back to the report view, we see that our month has been properly sorted. So it's starting from January, February, March, and it continues like that. That's for our first chart. The next thing we're going to check would be our sales by product category. We want to see which of the product category is performing better than others. I'm going to use a clustered column chart. I'll come to my visualizations pane, click on clustered column charts, And in cluster column chart, I'm going to click on sales and come over here to the product table and click on product category. I'm going to click on product category. So I see that Power BI has already sorted my chart in descending order. So here I can see that decorative, the product category decorative, is leading amongst the product categories that are being displayed here. The next thing that we can explore in this data set can be checking our unit cost and the unit price of each of these product category. Here I'm going to use a bar chart to do that. I'll click on my clustered bar chart in my visualizations and come here to select the unit cost and the unit price, then come to product table to select the product category. It's going to show us this sum of unit cost and unit price by each product category. The next thing we can also explore is exploring the profit margin by different sales channel. We have a sales channel column here, so we want to see how the sales channel are performing, which sales channel is bringing in more profit to us. And for us to do that, if you look at our data sets here and our tables, we don't have a profit margin column, so we have to create a measure. Measures are basically used to aggregate and analyze data within visuals. This is how we can create a measure. I'll come here over to my table tools and click on new measure. The first measure we're going to create is the profit measure, because we'll use the profit to calculate for our profit margin. In this measure, I'm going to give my measure a descriptive name. So I'll type profit, and my profit is going to be, I'm going to use the DAX sum function, sum of sales minus sum of unit cost. I'll close my bracket and then press enter. My profit measure has been created here. I'll go ahead now to create a measure for our profit margin. I'll come here to click on new measure. Under new measure, I'm going to give it the name profit margin equal to. Profit margin is basically profit divided by sales. Here I'm going to use the DAX divide function to calculate our profit margin. I'll type divide. The first argument is my numerator, which is going to be the profit measure that I've created, and the second argument is going to be a denominator. Since I don't have a measure for total sales, I'm going to use the sum function to calculate for the total sales, which is going to be my denominator, and I click on 0, I type 0 and press enter. After creating my profit margin here, since it's a profit margin, I'll decide to format it as a percentage. I'll click on this percentage symbol, and that's it for my profit margin measure. We'll now use it in a visual to check the profit margin for our different sales channel. Here I'm going to come to my visualizations pane again, click on donut charts. I'll come here and click on profit margin and sales channel. So this is our profit margin by sales channel. This is how you can create basic reports in Power BI. I'll quickly show you how to do some other formatting and how to use shapes to improve the aesthetics of your visual. So here I'll come to, under visualizations pane, I'll come to format my report page. I'll click on format report page. I'll come down to canvas background. I'll click on color. I'll choose this, and I'll come here to reduce the transparency of my canvas. After reducing the transparency of my canvas, I'll readjust my visuals. After aligning my visuals, I can come to insert tab, and I want to insert a shape. I want to insert a rectangle shape. I'll click on rectangle and readjust it up here. So this rectangle is going to hold our title and slicers. In order to format the shape, I'll come to the format pane and come here to select style. I'll come to fill, select the color and change the color to a darker shade of blue. Then when I'm done, I can also turn off the border here, and that is it for my rectangle shape. I'll also copy this shape. I'll copy and paste this shape. I'll copy and paste the shape because I want the second part of the shape to hold my card visual. This is how I want it to be. Then I'll come here, I'll come back to my insert tab and click on text box. In this text box, we want to create our report title. Since we are working on a sales data, I'll name it sales report. After typing sales report, you select it, come here to increase the font size. You can also change the color and make it bold. Then once I'm done, I'll come over to the format pane while still selected in the text box. Come to the format pane and click on effects. Under effects, I'm going to turn off the background for the title. I readjust it and position it on the shape. That is for our title. Next thing you can add to your report is a card visual. The card visual will hold some of your data summary. So first I'll click on a card visual and bring it down here. So we're going to readjust this card visual here and place it nicely. Then I'll come to select my sales. This card, the first one, is going to show the sum of my total sales. Then here I can just copy and paste this card visual in a bit to duplicate it. I'll drag the second one. Remember, card visuals only take in one value at a time. So here for this second card visual, I'm going to select profit. So the second one is for profit. I'll copy, paste, and that's for my third card visual. This third card visual, I would use it to show the order quantity. In order to format my card visual, I can just come and select all of them at once and come back to my visualizations pane. Under visualizations pane, I click on format visual, and I'll come here to click on general tab, over here to effects, and turn off the background. Once I turn off the background, I can come back here to the visual, select a color that I want the card to have. That's for the color out value. For the category label, I can equally come and change the color to another color. That is how you can create a card visual that holds summary of data in your analysis. Then you can also add some sliders. Sliders are basically used to filter your data set. And the first slider we're going to create will be for a date slicer. So you come to your visualizations, click on slicer. Once you click on slicer, you bring it here and you click on date. Once you click on dates, it's going to show. And for the slicer here, I'll come to format your visual, then click on general, and under general, go to effects, turn off the background. I'll come to visual, click on value, and change the font color. I'll also select the slicer header and change the font color. You can as well change the slider itself here. You can as well change the font color of the slider. Here you can just use it to filter your data set. Remember, I said that data set spans over 5 months. You can use it to filter your data set as you are clicking on as you're dragging the slider is filtering your data set. Or you can equally select this calendar icon there and choose any particular date that you want your visual to be filtered by. The next slicer we're going to create is for our product category. I'll come back here to my visualizations and click on slicer. Then for this slicer, I'll take it here, I'll drag it and align it here. Then I go to click on product category. Under product category, I want to format it as a drop down. I'll come to format your visual, click on slicer settings, and under options I'll select drop down. Once I select drop down, you see that my slicer has changed to a drop down. Under the format your visual, I'll come to general tab and click on effect, then turn off the background. Then over here, once I turn off the background, I'll come to values and change the font color. I'll change the font color of the values. Then I can also change the slicer header. I'll change the font color of the slicer header to something brighter. Still under the product category, you can also come to change the background. Come to change the color of the background to this color, and this is how you can filter your reports, filter your visuals by this product category. Once you select any product category, you can see that all your reports are being filtered by it. That is how you can create a slicer for product category and for date. So once you're done creating your report, you can decide to change anything that you want to change in any of these visuals. You can change the titles, you can change the labels, you can change even the colors, you can change almost anything. And you can also decide to publish it to Power BI service and allow people access to view your report. But before then, you have to come to your file tab and click on save as. You're going to save your report. We're going to save it as sales. After saving your report, you come to home tab and then you click on publish. Once you click on publish, if you have a Power BI service account, it's going to show where to publish to. I want to publish to my workspace. I'm going to select it. After selecting it, I'll just wait for a few seconds for it to publish to Power BI. And yes, it's showing success. That means my report has been published to Power BI. Here you can allow people access your report and view your report. Thank you so much for watching this video up to this point. If you learned something, please like, share, comment, and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys.